So just we'll have an overview of the things, and we'll continue to the remaining topics. Excuse. Okay. So yesterday we have started with the second chapter, operating system structures, and these are topics that we are going to cover: operating system services, operating system user interface, system calls, types of system calls, and operating system structures. So there is an overview diagram of how the operating system is going to be. So hardware is a separate component which is going to be connected to the operating system. So in operating system, you are going to have user interface, system calls, and programs, input, output. These are all the services that we are going to have of the operating system. That is program control, input, output control, file system, communication, error management, resources, auditing and accounting, and security. These are the services of an operating system, and these are system calls for operating system and user interface of the operating. So this all what we are going to study in this chapter mostly. Okay. Then all these things are connected to the hardware, and the user program is a program that we are going to write that will connect with the operating system, and it will go to the hardware. Fine. Then just I'm giving an overview of what are the things we have seen yesterday. So as I've said, these are all the various services, user interface, program execution, file input output, file system input output, communication, resource, errors, accounting, security, and protection. So these are all the services. So yesterday till error detection we have seen. We have to see something like resource, accounting, security, and protection. So today we'll try to see those things. And coming to the types of operating system, we are going to have something like related to command line interface, batch based interface, and graphical user interface. That is what. So command line interface is nothing but everything will be through commands. And graphical user interface is by using something called as graphics. Clear? Then coming to the program execution. The system, this is the first feature of an operating system, how the programs are getting executed. Whatever programs we are writing, how they are going to execute, how they are going to occupy the memory. Followed by input and output operation, that is mouse, keyboard, or whatever we are seeing, how they are going to operate. Then file system manipulations, how the files are going to store, delete, created, deleted, manipulated, edited, all those things. Not only file directories, also how they are going to store this. So this is going to play an important role in operating system. And communication, how the information is passed from one device to another device, or from one location to another location, how the information is going to be passed by means of operating. Okay. Then next important service, error detections. There might be many errors occurring in a operating system, in a computer or in a mobile. Day to day will be coming across. Sometimes it will get stuck, some it will get hanged up, or whatever I'm typing, or whatever I'm trying to use, it will be slow. There might be many things. So those things are also being handled by operating systems. Okay, the operating system has to be constantly aware of possible errors. There might be error occur. If I do this, error might occur. Okay, so there it will be assuming, it will be predicting, it will be constantly predicting error will occur or not, error will occur or not. If I do this, will error occur? If I do this, will error occur? If I do this, will error occur? So it will be constantly predicting whether any errors are expected to occur, anything is expecting to occur, or any kind of things are going to occur. So it will be constantly, it may occur in CPU, it may occur in memory devices, it may occur in input devices, or any other devices which are connected to a computer. And for each type of error, operating systems should take appropriate action and ensure correct and consistent computer. That is, any error which is occurring, it has to take necessary action, necessary step to overcome those errors. Okay. And debugging facility, debugging is nothing but, suppose you might have done a program, you might have done a program in C language, so there might be a syntax errors. So what you are doing for those syntax errors, wherever the error occurred, which line the error has occurred, you are tracing out which line the error occurred, and you are rectifying that error. That rectification is what we call as debugging in a program. So operating system also will take care of debugging. That is where the error might occur, at which line or which statement the error has occurred, where it has to go and rectify the things. That is what we call as debugging facility system. Then error detection. What are the various errors which are expected to occur and how they are going to be detected, how they are going to be corrected. That is what we have in error detection things. Okay. So till here we have seen in the yesterday's class. Done? Follow till here, as everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So next is what we have is resource allocations. So what is a resource exactly? What do you mean by a resource? Resource of a computer. First, we'll see what is the resource of a human being. What are resources? If you remember in the very first class, I have explained you a short thing about resource. Anybody remember that?
Mobile recharge.
Yes, good.
Of
That is what we are doing is for our mobile. If I want to get some talk time, what we are doing, we are recharging the things. So what is happening by means of recharge is nothing but I'm getting some talk time. So that is a resource for my mobile network. If I have talk time only, I can uh, communicate in a mobile. If I don't have a talk time, can I communicate? I'll not be able to communicate. Same way, if I take this one, mobile data. If I have mobile data only, I'll be able to access internet from my mobile. Without mobile data, I'll not be able to access. So they are what we call as resources of a mobile network. So like this, even if we take our human beings, if we take for ourselves, what are resources of ours? What we have, whatever we have, whatever I can
groceries.
do, yeah, whatever I'm having, all those things are what we call as resources. For us, suppose if I am having a computer, computer is my resource. If I'm having a mobile, mobile is my resource. Okay, so whatever I own, whatever I am able to achieve for myself is my resource. Okay, so like this, when multiple users or multiple jobs are running concurrently, resources must be allocated to each of them. Okay, that is, suppose if we take a household, if we take a family, in a family there are about 4 or 5 people as in that. So all the 4 or 5 people will be equally sharing the things in a house. Whatever the things we have in a house will be equally sharing among ourselves. That is, whatever the available resources are there, we are equally sharing it among ourselves. That is, when multiple people are there, they are equally sharing the things concurrently. That is, at the same time. At the same time, I'm able to access all the resources. Then, how many types of things, many types of resources are there for a computer? And we are talking now in sense of computer. Computer resources are such as CPU cycle, memory, main memory, like what are the memory devices it is having. Then whatever the storage devices, whatever the files which are stored, whatever the programs which I have done, all those things are what we call as resources for a computer. Okay, may have, then they can be a special type of resource or a general type of resource. It can be special or it can be a general also. So depending on what we have, what we earn is what we call as resource. So for a computer, what are the resources? Memory is a resource. Okay, the CPU, the processing processor, like previously we have seen how many types of processors, multiple processors, single processor, how many cores are there. All those things are what we call a resource for a computer. So all those things must be accessed by all the users of the computer equally. That is what is called as concurrent users are accessing the resources at the same time. So that resource allocation is managed by operating system. Then after this, next we have something like accounting or auditing. We'll be having users in a computer. Normally, in a mobile, we don't have this facility of users. But when we come to something like computers, we have the facility of something called as users. User is nothing but, suppose I'm logging into my computer. Like this, I can create multiple users. Simple example I can give you. You have worked on DBMS, right? Everybody have worked on DBMS in the last year, previous year. So for DBMS, if you have to log in, you're logging in with a username and password. Everybody is able to log in with a username and password, right? So what is that? That is, you are providing you are the user, and you are being able to access by means of password. So all these users are kept track in a computer. Okay, like for example, suppose we come to bigger companies, their server will be able to log into the servers by means of username and password. Or simple example, one more example that I can give you is everybody will be accessing the mails. For mails, we are able to log in using mail accounts by giving the passwords. That is, these users are going to be maintained by the operating system of a particular computer. If it is a Gmail, by Google, it is going to be maintained. If it is by a no, if it is normal computer, in our computer we are maintaining the different types of users. So all these users are maintained according to the standards. Who is an admin user? Who is a normal user? Who is a normal guest user? All those things are going to be kept track of. So keeping track of those things is what we call as accounting of users. Not only accounting, it also comes under something called as auditing. Commerce people will be aware of this term. Auditing is nothing but all the users, are they using it in a proper way? Are they able to generate it in a proper way? Are they able to access all the resources of the computer in a proper way or not? Those things are what we call as accounting and auditing of a user. Okay, ma? Then next what we have is protection and security. One more important thing of an operating system. Normally, every mobile also has this. If I want to open a mobile, if I want to work on a mobile, we'll be having a patents. I don't think none of the mobiles will be without a patent, as far as my assumption is here. So here, what is the role of this patents, or what is the role of this protection? The owner of the information stored in multiple users or network computers may want to control the information, concurrent processes. That is, if I want to access the information. Suppose, simple example, I want to open a file in mobile without without the pattern. Can I open a file? I don't think it will be impossible. Yes or no? Can we open a file without the pattern? It is going to be a completely impossible task. So same way, suppose multiple users are there in a computer. All the users are provided with different passwords. So if I give a password only, I'll be able to access. If I don't give a password, can I access the file? I'll not be able to access the file. Okay, and I'll not be able to access the things. Simple example I can give you. Just I've taken attendance. Everybody might have seen I've shared the screen. I have taken the attendance. So there, what is happening is I'm able to mark the attendance. If you observe in the side, there are also other class attendance, max 5, max 6, other classes attendance are also there in the Excel sheet. If you have observed, that is what is happening is the same Excel sheet has been accessed by all the faculties of your class. If you want, I can share the things and I can show you once again. See here at the bottom, if you can see, there is a Java, Max 6, Max 5. Able to observe? That is, if I click on Max 5, there is attendance of Max 5, sir, Prashant sir. Max 6, Sapna ma'am. Okay, this Java's attendance, this operating system attendance. So we are all able to take the attendance in the same Excel sheet. It's not a different Excel sheet. The same Excel sheet we are able to take the attendance. And this Excel sheet is been shared among all the faculties of your class. How that has been done, how that is possible? By means of something like accessing by using protection methods. So a password is been allocated. Using that password and sharing mechanism, we are able to access it. So this is also one of the important feature of an operating system we can call. Okay. So there are many features like this, not only one or two. There are n number of features by the operating systems. All these things can be accessed at the same time. Then coming to the security. Security is also going to play an important role for these things. Without proper security, without proper things, we will not be able to access the things. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
So without proper security, we will not be access any other information. Okay. As I'm having a security, as I'm having a password for this Excel sheet, I'm able to access the data. If I don't have a password, I'll not be able to access the Excel sheet. Not only me, all the faculties must have the password or sharing link, without which we'll not be able to access the things. So that is how the protection and security mechanism of an operating system works. So these are all the main things, main services of an operating system. Not apart from this, there are many other services also for an operating system to work. If a system is been protected and secured, precautions must be instituted throughout it. A chain is only as strong as it is weakest link. Okay, chain is going to be stronger if all the links are strong. If there is one link is weak, all the other links also going to be weaker. It will be broken. So like this, the things are going to happen for an this one.